Hello and welcome to Juggling Hats and Homes. We are back after a little summer break. Woo! My name is Harry Truman, and
I am Alex Tan.
And we have a very special guest with us today. This is our first ever time we have had a guest on the podcast because it's normally just me and Alex wittering away. And so this time we have invited the one, the only Mr. Toby Martin to join us on our podcast today. So welcome, Toby. Thank you for joining us.
What a privilege to be on my favourite podcast.
Oh.
I say that whenever I'm on a podcast.
Yes, I know. I have seen you say that before.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So we've got Toby on because he's also a parent, he's also an agent, so that fits the bill there. But also Toby is going to be telling us all about a very exciting conference that we have happening in just 2 weeks' time. So we're going to interrogate Toby in a short while all about this conference and why you should be booking a ticket if you haven't already got one. But we'll do our usual format to start us off. So I'm going to give a rental market update. Toby is a letting agent, so he's going to chip in with a little bit of information from his side as well. And then Alex is going to give us a sales update. That's what's been happening with the estate agency over the summer that she's been seeing. For me, from a rental update within Andrews, we have had a really busy summer. And we have found that our move-in numbers, so the amounts of new tenancies moving in across Andrews, is actually at 20% on the summer previously, which is really positive, which shows that the market is moving, which is what we want. We are also seeing an increased number of instructions that are taking a managed service. So one of the things that we aim for within Andrews is we aim for 80% of all of our instructions that we bring on, we aim for those to be on a managed or a rent collect service basis, because we believe that landlords and tenants are safer when the property is managed by an agent. And over the summer, we have got just under that 80% target that we've been looking for. It's a huge increase from where we were a few months ago or a couple of years ago. But we've been working on that, and we're actually seeing more and more landlords coming on now on a managed service basis, which is really positive, which shows that landlords are seeing the value of having a letting agent looking after them. So I'm really pleased with that. Our rents across the board are continuing to increase, but just at 5%. You know, we see some stats that are saying rents are going up by 10%, but ours are going up consistently by about 5.1% each month. Those are the in-tenancy rents. And lastly, I had some interesting stats on Section 21 notices. So with the change in the government, there has been a fear that landlords are en masse serving Section 21 notices to get in there before the Labour government changes the rules around that. And so we've been monitoring our numbers of landlords serving Section 21s very closely to see if there has been any change. We've actually seen that half year 1 2024 in comparison to half year 1 2023, we've actually seen the exact same number of landlords serve notices, actually just one different in that different 6-month period, which shows that there hasn't been initially a change in landlord behaviour, and we will continue to monitor that, obviously, moving forward to check that, you know, if landlords are panicking and kicking their tenants out, which we don't think they are. But just some interesting stats there I thought I'd share with you about Andrews over the last summer and some of our Section 21 stats. Toby, do you have anything to add on a rental market perspective recently?
I think that stat on the Section 21s is really interesting, and I think I'm hopeful that perhaps means that property professionals are doing a good job in getting the message across that these changes aren't going to come in overnight. There's no need to rush or panic into serving a Section 21 notice. They're not going to disappear. And also that we wait to see the confirmation of reforms to Section 8 that are going to come in, which may well mean that even in the long run, landlords don't need to be quite so fearful of the abolishment of Section 21. So I think that's quite reassuring. But in general terms, on the rental front, you mentioned the 5% rent increases. In the broad scheme of things, that's still fairly generous in terms of an annual year-on-year rent increase. When you bear in mind that kind of pre-COVID, we were looking at sort of 1-2% rent increases year on year. So those figures are still pretty high, really. And for me, there's one stat that I keep coming back to, which kind of really bears that out, which is that when you look at the number of homes available on the market and you compare it to the average number of homes over the last decade, that at any one given moment, moment at the moment, the number of homes available to rent on the market is down by about 40% compared to the average over the last decade. And it is good that I think that number is perhaps slowly ebbing upwards, and we've had a slightly stronger summer. But that is the key reason for these rent increases, the 5% rent increases. So I think until that changes, we'll carry on seeing that current climate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Rightmove released some stats today. It's been in the industry press that there are more. There's nearly 25%, I think, of all the properties that they have on for sale at the moment were previously rental properties, and that number is growing. It's much higher than it was previously. So it's not sort of going up like really quickly. It's just gradually growing. But that just shows that there is a change in landlord behaviour. And they said that the biggest stats are in the London area. So it seems that more London landlords are putting their properties up for sale. So definitely one to keep an eye on. And we hope that our new government will consider some changes to incentivise landlords to stay in the industry, because they're needed. Okay.
That was a strong summary of the rental market, Harry. I think we should do a podcast.
That was a very strong summary. Thank you, Toby, for those stats. Okay, so before Alex falls asleep and all of those other estate agents that are listening fall asleep, Alex, tell us about sales. What's been going on with sales recently?
Well, we talk constantly on quite a few of our podcasts, Harry, about the seasonality factor. And with it being the summer holidays, notoriously in the sales market, we always think it's a bit quieter because all of our customers are away, our staff are away, that it is a quieter period for us. This year absolutely bucks the trend, completely different. So, for instance, in the Bristol and Bath area, we had our best month for net sales. So it's really bizarre the amount of activity that we've had. Of all of the months in the year, it has been our notoriously quieter month, bar Christmas, bar December. So it's really interesting to see how much the market's really improved and picked up. So there's a lot of appetite, there's a lot of confidence in the property market at the moment. So I would say that the first 7-8 months of the year, we actually have had house prices rise by 1.4%, so quite significant. But of that, what we're seeing is there's a lot of property stock. So there's obviously people that want to sell and they want to get moving. But we've got this problem, which is constantly talked about in the industry, about overvaluing. So it still poses a really big problem where of those properties, 1 in 5 will need to be reduced. And it has to be reduced by 5% or more to have an impact, because it is a very price sensitive market. So what Zoopla has said recently, so they've literally, their house price index, they've said that it would take 28 days to sell a property with that obviously is priced correctly with no reductions. 28 days, which is pretty fast. If you go on overvalued, overpriced, it will take approximately 73 days to sell your property, and you will need to reduce by 5% or more. So it just goes to show, if you put your property on the market at the right price, it will sell. And that definitely rings true to everything that we're experiencing at the moment. So from a sales perspective, it's excellent. And we're only expecting it to continue through autumn. It's definitely autumn today. It's Thursday, the 5th of September, and it is rain galore. It's horrific, isn't it? Absolutely awful. But we do expect to see some really decent activity out there. Mortgage rates are coming down and everything as well. New government in tow. So roll on the rest of 2024.
Do you think the base rate change has impacted that busy August?
I believe so. I really do. Everybody was so desperate for it that I was over the moon. I was like, finally, it's happened. And I do think it's had an impact. Some people, I've seen some conflicting people saying it hasn't had as much of an impact as we would have liked. But in my isolated area of Bristol and Bath, it definitely has.
I won't ask you to do any crystal ball gazing, but we've got a budget coming up as well, haven't we? Wouldn't it be nice if there was something in that would also spark the market into greater life?
Definitely. I think that's such a good point, Toby, because if we have something because I think that all of the recent budgets have been so disappointing from sales and lettings, hasn't it? In terms of something to really help support our business and our industry. It's been really disappointing. So let's hope there's some incentives for both lettings and sales. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is be careful what you wish for though, Toby, because an element of the budget that has been whispered about is that they could increase capital gains tax for landlords,
Yeah.
which means that will help the sales market.
Yeah.
As landlords,
true.
because any
Yeah.
change they announce in autumn will become effective in April. So there is that window that if they do announce a capital gains increase, then there may be more landlords look to sell before that changes. So be careful what you wish for there, because we do not want that.
Yeah, I'm not willing to throw the lettings market onto the onto the sales market and have a bonfire of lettings properties. It would be nice if we were both adequately supported rather than sacrificing lettings stock for the sake of Alex Tan and her sales.
Well, look after them. It's okay.
But it is true. In this kind of seesaw effect, wouldn't it be nice to have a balance instead of allowing one market to get out of kilter for the sake of the other?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, and also we have to think that who is ultimately going to be affected by that? It'll be the tenants, because they will have a limited choice of where they live. There.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That 40% of stock that, reduced available homes that I mentioned earlier, if that comes down even further, if we're down to 50% fewer properties on the market, rents have risen 5% year on year, that will increase again if the stock reduces.
Yeah. Okay, well, on that jolly note, let's talk about something that actually is jolly. And so we're going to talk about PropX. We should have had a.
It's not too late. We'll start it now. Say it again. Say it again.
PropX.
Yeah.
That is good. Love that, Alex Tan. Of course you came up with that. So, right, Toby. As an organizer of PropX and a trustee of the Propertymark Trust, of which I am also, tell us all about PropX. When is it and where is it? And who's speaking?
Okay, so PropX, this is the very first, the inaugural PropX, which is, I'm so excited about this. So it's being held on the 20th of September, just over a fortnight away as we speak, meaning that, yes, there is still time to book your tickets and put your plans in place. We're going to be in Birmingham at Millennium Point. I'm really excited that we're having one of these conferences outside of London. Not that I got anything against London, but it's always in London. Give the rest of the country an opportunity. And being in the Midlands, we hope that it means that everybody can reasonably get there. Millennium Point is a really exciting venue as well. It used to be an IMAX cinema, meaning it's got this colossal 112 square meter screen, which your face and my face will be beamed up upon. So that's slightly intimidating, but it used to be a cinema. So really comfy bucket seats. It's going to have such an exciting atmosphere. So yeah, 20th of September, book your tickets. But would you like me to go into a bit more detail about what the event actually is?
Yes, please.
Perfect. So this is a fundraiser for the Propertymark Trust, which you just alluded to. We've based it on the popular TED format of TED Talks. So we've got over a dozen brilliant speakers from all over the industry, all delivering talks no longer than 20 minutes in length. So they're designed to be sort of punchy, quick, golden nuggets of wisdom and inspiration on all manner of different subjects.
Okay, and so tell us about a few of the speakers and what they're talking about. Not all of them, because of course you probably can't.
I won't go through the whole thing because we'll be here all day. But that is the idea, that we've got this really diverse roster of speakers, and there's so many different subjects covered. So from the world of marketing, we've got Simon Ledbetter, who seems to be everywhere at the moment. You won't be able to walk down the street without bumping into someone who's been to his 30 years of marketing in a day course, which is for a very good reason. Then from the world of sales, so we've got Chris Webb. So there's plenty for people like you, Alex. So sales types.
Like me. You're putting estate agents, in that category.
We thought of you. You're catered for. And then kind of because we've loosely based it on the TED format, that there is quite a lot in the terms of mindset and motivation, resilience, So we've got Rob Brady, Holly Marshall, fantastic 𝗝𝘂𝗴𝗶𝗴𝗹𝗶𝗀𝗀, who in the last week made me walk over fire. That's how good she is. And then from the worlds of sort of team culture and team management, we've got Heather Staff, and we've got someone, I'm going to say here, Anne Hara Truman. And then we've also got from the world of Netflix and the world of prime real estate, we've got Daniel Daggers, who obviously had a phenomenally successful Netflix series recently. And so that is just a snapshot of the speakers who we got. So such a diverse panel, and yeah, something literally for everybody.
I am so excited, and I do really love the format. Equally, so going back to what you said, it's in Birmingham, which is different. I love that it's in Birmingham. It's so much cheaper to get from Bristol to Birmingham than London, so win-win. And
Exactly.
then the format that it's in 20 minutes, I think that you can get so much so quickly, and it had to be so condensed that it's quick fire. So I really love that format. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be such an exciting day.
Yeah.
Amazing speakers, and attention span wise, that fits me perfectly.
I think it has been planned by people with ADHD for people with ADHD. No one will be getting bored on the day.
Amazing.
Alex, are you particularly looking forward to Dan Daggers, because I think he's going to share some really good sort of snippets from the estate agency world, from the prime real estate world. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be intriguing because there's been so much talk. If you look at on the socials in terms of I don't want to say against, but in terms of the preconceived ideas of prime real estate, and people talking about us when we're just selling again cheaper properties, and there's quite a few torn perspectives from different people in the industry. But I'm really intrigued to see the journey. I just think it's great. It's so relatable in terms of being in the same industry. I'm not selling prime properties, but I think it'd be great to actually see him in action, hear his story. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that.
And from what I hear about Daniel Daggers, I don't think his background and his journey will be necessarily what you're expecting it to be. I understand he came from very humble beginnings, and so I, for one, am really interested to hear how he's gone from apparently selling studio flats as a 17-year-old to now being Mr. Prime Real Estate. So that's going to be really fascinating.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so Toby, tell us about the sort of purpose behind it. Like, why are we holding it?
Yeah.
And I guess that sort of leads you into the Propertymark Trust then, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. So the Propertymark Trust is a charity, obviously connected to Propertymark, which we're all members of and involved with. And the purpose of the Propertymark Trust is to provide support to Propertymark members, not just Propertymark members, but also their colleagues, their families, and also employees of Propertymark, and to provide them with support really when their lives are in crisis. There's two main strands to that, really. We've got a big drive on encouraging and helping people through education. That's property-specific education, in other words, getting qualified in the world of property to help further their careers. So that's specifically aimed at people who are really unable to afford those qualifications, because they do come at a cost. So that shouldn't really be a barrier to prevent people from furthering themselves and their lives and their careers. And then the other side to the Propertymark Trust is helping people who are already property professionals whose lives genuinely have hit crisis time. And that might be illness, it might be financial strife, it could be all manner of different situations. But ultimately, if a property professional has entered a time of their life where their livelihood is at risk, their income is threatened, then we're here to try and make sure that doesn't derail their career or their lives. So every single penny of profit from the day from PropX is going to the Propertymark Trust, and so we're really hoping that we'll raise a good amount of money on the day, and that money undoubtedly, unquestionably, will change people's lives.
Yeah, I think what we say that Propertymark Trust is sort of the industry's best kept secret. And I think we've been on a real drive over the last sort of 8 months to raise the profile a little bit about the trust, because not many people knew that much about it or what it did. And we've really been on a bit of a journey with raising that profile, which is excellent. But it also means that we're having more and more requests for help, which is great. That's what we want. We want to help people. But that ultimately means that the amount of money that we have in order to help those people is going backwards, is going downwards. And this event has been created in order to increase that revenue that we have in order to give to people who need it. So it's a really exciting event. It's the first one we've ever done for the Propertymark Trust, and I really cannot wait to be there and to feel the buzz of that event in 2 weeks.
And actually, I feel I should say, I guess I've got to be slightly cryptic here, but we haven't rinsed all of our big announcements yet. There is an incredibly exciting announcement coming probably in the next couple of days, just to sort of top off the day. And so please do keep an eye out for that, because I think if you're on the fence, you'll definitely want to be there once you hear about that.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a hit before.
What could it be?
Oh, exciting.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you, Toby. Thank you for telling us all about that. There are still tickets available to the Propertymark Trust when this podcast goes out, to the Propertymark Trust, to PropX. When this podcast goes out, we will put a link in the post. So please, if you haven't booked your tickets already, make sure you check out that link, book your tickets. There's still time. We do need to tell the caterers very soon what the numbers are, but we can make an educated guess. So yes, get yourself a ticket, and we look forward to seeing you there. And you can hear all about what the trust does, and also hear from our fantastic speakers as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And come and meet us. Come and meet Alex Tan. Say hello.
Come and meet Alex Tan. She's coming.
She's going to be there.
When you're on stage, Toby, I'm definitely going to shout, "Love you, Toby!"
Alex, you need to wear a T-shirt that says like "I love Toby Martin" or something.
Oh, we'll be selling them on the day. I'll have a merch store set up. Yeah.
You could do like you could do like, this is a bit weird. You could do like the Travis thing with Toby, I'm pregnant.
That's a good segue into our next part, actually.
Yes, that is. Moving on.
We have an announcement to make.
Yeah.
Because I am one and done.
Your respective partners might be very concerned about that. Moving on. So we always tend to try and have a little bit of a parenting story on these podcasts. That's why it's called Juggling Hats and Homes, is because we juggle a lot of hats as parents. And yeah, I have a very big day today with my little boy, because in approximately an hour, he starts his very first day of school. And I know there's been lots of this over the last week. We've seen lots of back to school photos, but I'm feeling a bit emotional about my little boy starting his big adventure. And yeah, you guys have kids in school, so tell me about their first day and how you didn't cry like an enormous baby when they went in.
Maybe you go first.
I mean, I definitely did get a bit weepy. I remember it really clearly. So my son's beginning his 3rd year of school now, which scares me just to say it. And actually, it shows you kind of the progression as a parent over the years, because I definitely remember my son's first day of school, and nervously letting go of his hand as he ran in. He didn't even look around. He didn't even look back, which if anything made it even worse. So I was like, I thought he'd wave. But now, like this year, we got to the last day of the summer holidays, and he was everyone was so ready for term to start again. I remember saying to him with a day to go, like, "Are you looking forward to going back to school?" He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." And everyone was like, "Oh, what a relief." But yeah, the first day is definitely a very precious moment and an emotional time.
Yeah.
What was it like for you, Alex?
I feel like I know what Alex is going to say.
Oh, do you know what? I felt like it was it was actually yesterday that she went back, and it was exactly the same. It's so emotional. So I think we talked about it in our last podcast about the anxiety, and it's still then after 6 weeks of having fun, and then actually having to go back to doing work and trying to get educated. So that I knew that it was going to be emotion. So I was really glad that it was sunny yesterday and I could wear sunglasses because of the hay fever, obviously. So there were tears and it was quite traumatic. I did come away feeling exhausted and drained yesterday. So Toby, like you said, as the years go by, it wasn't like that with me. And that's why it's important that you have that varied approach, that everyone's different, aren't they? And I think it's been a real struggle. It's been a real challenge. And that's so key that I do talk about it, because there were lots of photos out there about kids' first days. I took a photo because I thought I need to have a photo. Even if you're crying your eyes out, we need to have a photo. He was fine before we left. He was fine before so I had a nice photo, but then when we got there, it was a bit like, I don't feel like posting anything about the first day today because it's just not, it wasn't right. But today she skipped in. Like, it was traumatic yesterday. I was just like, oh my God, this is not good. And then we got to go for round 2. Absolutely fine. So you know what? At first it's always worse when you have that build up and you have those emotions, but I think it's so important to feel it and really embrace it, because we're parents. They're our precious babies, even if they are literally going to reception or even like in year 2 now. Everybody's journey is different, but it's exciting. And at least with Teddy, he gets to go and play all day today. Well, for a few hours while they do the staggering in process.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think is quite interesting, which gives a bit of perspective, in that you never, like, to give perspective of what kids are dealing with at that very tender age. I've been on the other side of this as a teacher.
Yeah, of course.
Teachers have first day nerves too. So you never really lose it. We're asking kids to deal with something that fully grown adults are also on the first day of term going, oh God, back to school. I wonder what the kids are going to be like. I hope they're nice to me. So you never really lose it.
Okay, so basically your advice is it's okay to be nervous and be a bit emotional, because by tomorrow I'll be fine.
Oh, absolutely.
And so will
cry. You will cry. Most people do cry. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I cried yesterday, and that's a few years on. So I think that absolutely fine to cry, but it just gets better and better. And he's going to thrive. Like you said, Toby, he's a Truman.
He's a Truman. He'll be running the school. If he's not a head boy within 6 months, then I'll eat my hat.
Something's gone wrong there. If he isn't, yeah. Well, thank you both for your advice. And I will let you know how it goes. I'll send you a picture and be like,
Good luck.
Well, thank you. That was a great first guest podcast. Thank you very much, Toby. It was really good to have your insight and also to hear all about PropX. Thank you for joining us. And
will you have me back?
We will have you back. Maybe we're going to mix it up and have a guest quite regularly now, Alex. So if you've been listening to this regularly, stay tuned for more exciting guests. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Toby. Thank you very much, Alex. And see you all again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.